just wrapped up stop number 3 of the MLF Big 5 Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit event on Lake Murray. It's April 22nd to 25th. So guess what? Recap time. So first and foremost, Lake Murray is well known as a blueback herring lake. Myself, I have zero experience with a blueback herring lake. So when it came to practice, I knew I had to look for this offshore herring bite. So you'll find bass busting and schooling up on main lake points and back in some secondary points. I spent a lot of time looking for that every morning. I personally did not catch or find any bass doing that in practice. But what I did find in practice was they were on the bank, they were spawning, and I think by the end of our 2 days of practice, I had close to 50 spawning bass on beds marked, waypointed, notes for each one. So I had to go for the spawners. I decided right away in this tournament, I had to play what we call small ball. So, this is a whole year-long circuit that I'm doing. I'm trying to make the championship. I'm trying to cash checks along the way. I'm trying to have good finishes. So sometimes you go for the win. Sometimes you just go for a good finish and a good check. And that's what I went for because I knew there was enough spawners there to get me that 12.5 to 13, 14 pounds a day that it should take to get paid. Of course, we get a cold front. Temperatures drop down to near freezing overnight the night before our tournament starts. So I decided I'm gonna run up the river. I found some bigger spawners up there, and more importantly, there were ones that were biting my hookless lure while I was looking at them in practice. And I decided to start where I had the 2 biggest bites, and that's where I am here.
All right, nice one. Sir. Number 2 in the mouth. Oh.
I ended up leaving this pocket with 4 fish, ran back down towards the takeoff ramp to another pocket where I had dozens of fish marked on beds in pretty short order, got a limit, and then from there on it was just upgrading. So I ran around the lake, hitting most of the waypoints I had, most of the bedders that I had marked, knowing I had to leave some for tomorrow. So I weigh in day 1 with 12 pounds and 14 ounces. I was actually pretty happy with that because I knew from what I saw on beds in practice, I was on about a 12 to 13 pound a day pattern. What I didn't know that guys were gonna absolutely crush them. So after day 1, my 12, almost 13 pounds had me sitting in 91st place. They pay till 78. So I knew I had a little bit of ground on day 2 to make up to get that pay spot, which was really important for me. One of the key things I found in practice was you had to get bites between your bedders. You couldn't just rely on spawning fish. There just wasn't enough big ones on beds. So the one bait that actually got me the most bites was this Lunker Hunt lunker stick, but I have a little bit of an alteration to it. I add this little spinner on the back. I cast it into the bank, there's either wood or a little bit of bank grass, and I pull out of the bank grass, and most of those fish are spawning right on the edge of that, or at least they're cruising the edge of that, and they see that lunker stick flutter down with that little spinner spinning on the back, and they eat it every time. It was a pretty cool way to catch a lot of fish between the bedders. They didn't bite it. If I was looking at them with that, that's when I would switch to the craw baits, my drop shot, my lunker finesse worm, and that style stuff. Day 2 starts. I know I got to get around 13 pounds or so to try to bump up into a pay spot. So I run all my bedders. I have a really tough morning. A lot of my fish are gone. They either got plucked or they just left overnight, as that's what happens. There was, I believe, a few new ones coming in, but more often than not, I think the fish were leaving. We were on the tail end of the spawn here. So I just put on my working hat and I grinded away. Started off with this fish right here, and then in this same pocket, I just went around and started looking for new fish.
Oh, finally. In the mouth, way in the mouth. Yes, sir. In the mouth. Look at that, barely hooked. Take them. Throw something different for them all the time. Lunker hunt, finesse worm. All right. I think that'll help.
And I somehow got 5 fish looking at every one of them. So now that I got 5 fish, I know I needed to upgrade. I knew it was around 12 pounds. I needed one more big fish. So I pick up this stupid little red, they call it methylate worm. I have no experience with this, but I know it works well down in the south, and especially around the spawn. And I knew I needed to get a cruiser, and this thing catches those cruisers. It catches those fish. They're just like the big ones that are cruising the bank. So that's what I start doing. And sure enough, I come around this little pocket, kind of the base of this lay down tree, and I see this guy cruising.
That's gonna cool.
That was a 2 3/4 pound fish. It was my kicker, unfortunately, but it did bring me up to a pretty good bag. So overall, I grinded it out. I had 12 pounds and 11 ounces on day 2, hoping it would be just enough to get me into that pay spot. Unfortunately, it didn't. I ended up in 86th place out of 164 pros. So no check, but good points. And again, the end goal here is to finish high enough in the standings, top 50 overall, to make the championship at the end of the year. Well, that's it for this one. Thanks so much for the support. Thank you for following along. As you can see, I got a Lunker Hunt Power Pole Ranger hooked up. Covers on because it's pouring rain, but I got to get back to work, driving to Alabama this afternoon because the 4th stop of the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit is on Eufaula, Alabama, and I got to go find some fish in that one. So check out the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.
Do me a favor.
Yeah, what's that?
I want to bait like what you use because I know you know what to do.
Yeah, I can give you one.
Oh, I'm
I've had one bite on the jerkbait today and I lost it. There you go, just made by lunker hunt. Okay.
You're all right. Does that go down? Does it sink?
It suspends, so it's jerk, 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 suspend, jerk, 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 suspend.